Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How y'all doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am introing my Build Your Own Palette rotation. I told y'all that this was going to be a new series on my channel, and today I have used my Build Your Own Palette Book of Magic edition a couple times. I'm over it now and I want to move on. So today we're going to be building a palette for fall and Halloween time, and I cannot wait. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high and colorful beauty and self-care. And ultimately, I'm just out here talking about makeup because I like to talk about makeup, and this is my self-care. And I hope that you find that you love it here just as much as I love it here, and you'll want to subscribe before you go. Let's jump in and roll through this Build Your Own Palette series. I wanted just to jump in here and talk about my thoughts and opinions now on my Build Your Own palette for the Beauty Bay Book of Magic palette. I do have to say, I don't know that I think that these more generalized, neutral shades really belonged in this palette. I think that the pink probably did belong, but the other ones I didn't 100% use when I was utilizing this palette, and I think just kind of got in the way, honestly. I do think that this could have been a 15 pan eyeshadow palette with just these shades, because these shades make sense to me. Maybe swapping out one or two of these shades for that pink would have made more sense. Like, I could totally see it if this one here was swapped out for the pink. Let's do that real quick. That would have been a 100% cohesive palette to me. I just feel like these extra shades didn't really belong in this palette. That said, I am really super glad that I built my own palette for the one that got away, in my humble opinion, because I'm over this palette. Oh, I did complete a couple of eye looks with this palette, the most prevalent one being the Get Ready With Me that I did, utilizing this palette. I'm not 100% in love with the shades in here. That being said, I don't know why I was so drawn to this palette, because while I do love a blue eyeshadow look, I also am not 100% comfortable with a blue eyeshadow on my face, and this has a lot of blue in it. Even the greens are more teals than they are green. I will say this is a beautiful shade here. This is a Sydney Grace Megalodon. Oh my gosh, such a beautiful shade. I really did love this shade and this shade too. All the shimmers in this palette were pretty phenomenal. I did struggle with this purple. This purple is out of the Natasha Denona palette. This is the Natasha Denona Purple Blue. It's number 82V. I did struggle with that one a little bit. I'm not sure if it's because of the shadow or because of this color story, but I'm super happy to have gotten the use out of this palette. I'm super happy to have experienced the Book of Magic palette, and now I'm over it. It's no longer living rent-free in my brain space, and we are going to put all these beautiful shadows back and pick a new Build Your Own palette for fall and Halloween time. So what I'm imagining is some browns and some oranges and some reds and maybe some murky greens and maybe some, I don't know, just beautiful fall time shadows. I did realize when I was doing this Build Your Own palette that there are some shadow shades that I am missing in my singles collection. Now, that does not mean that I am going to go out and run and get a new, set of neutral tones for my singles collection, or purple and pink mattes for my singles collection. That's not what we're doing here. I mean, because the whole purpose of this is trying to not spend my money on things that I think that I need to have. So we're not going to go out and spend a bunch of money on singles that I think I need to bring into my collection. But what I have realized in this journey of Build Your Own palette is that, man, I am super happy that I have the Natasha Denona midi and full-size palettes that I do, because those pans just pop right out and they're super easy to write what palette they belong in on the back of them, and They give me a whole wealth of excess shades for me to dip into. So I'm really happy with that. That said, the next shot you're going to see is overhead, me going through my singles with all my singles laid out, and we're going to pick a new build your own palette for fall. This time we're going to just stick to the 15 shades that fit in here. Unless we pick a bunch of these little square shades, because I think the square shades, we could fit more in here if we utilize the square shades. But we're not promising anything. I'm so excited to build a palette for fall, so let's go. We've seen these before. These are my singles. I've put all of the shadows that we used in the Build Your Own palette for Book of Magic back. I don't know if they're in order. We'll have to figure that out someday. Today is not the day. This is the palette that I'll be using. I think it fits 15. It's just a cheap palette that I got off of Amazon for this purpose. It came in like a set of 3 this size and 3 small ones. I don't really know what I'm doing here for fall. I just know that like I like a lot of like jewel tones and greens and oranges. Let's see, I do want it to be conducive to fall, but I also want it to be full of shades that I'm not really getting in like the palettes that I'm pulling, and I don't know exactly what that means. But I do think that I do want to pull in some of these Cleona shades because it's been a fat minute since I have played with any of those. I don't have a whole lot of mattes in this realm, so I may have to pull in some more of my Natasha Denona shadows. I do want to start with some that I know I want to be in this. For starters, I want this kind of crazy, ooky, murky, like green chartreusey shimmer to be a part of this. That is what it looks like. This is Sydney Grace Celebrate. I think it is just beautiful. I also really want this one in here. This is Sydney Grace Oil Painting. I do think that this is one of the Sydney Grace shades that I paid for on its own. So I want that one to be in there as well. I think I also want like this kind of like gray. This is Sydney Grace Charming Chaos. Maybe I don't want that one. I mean, it's kind of this like duochrome, like pink to taupe. Can you guys see that? It's kind of this pinky taupe color. Let's go ahead. Let's add it in. Let's see. What's this one? This one is also a Sydney Grace duochrome, I do believe. This is Sydney Grace, yeah, Twisted Shifter. This is also one that I paid for separately. And I know that you guys can't see the shift, but it's like green to like this really pretty like purple color. I wonder, let me get out a mirror. Do you guys see it? Yes. Let's put that one in too. I need maybe some mattes. That is the color story right now. I think I want this yellow. This is Sydney Grace Lemonade. That is a crazy yellow. And I think I also want this orange. This is Sydney Grace Orange Slush, and that's what that one looks like. I think that green and yellow and orange would look beautiful in an eye look together. But to go with this green, I think I need like an army-ish green matte. Yeah, let's pull that in. That'll go well also with the purples and the grays and the pinks in this. If I put them like this would be a really beautiful quad, but there's only one matte. So I need maybe another matte. And I don't really know what matte I would want to go with that. The orange and the yellow, I think I would want to partner with like an orange matte. And this one, but I think that one, no, I think that would be fine. Right? Those 3. Yeah, I think that would be fine. So I forgot to tell you what shade this is. This is Sydney Grace Funhouse. And this one is Sydney Grace Kiss Me, I'm Irish. I do think that I want like a deepening, like deep brown shade in here. I also know that I have abundance of browns in my like palette collection when I'm bringing like palettes in. These are the three that Andy sent me. This one. I feel like that one could be good for this, which is this one. I don't know that I feel like the other two are fall centric. Let's pull this one in. I think I am going to pull like this yellow in here. This is Sydney Grace Geese Lane. I forgot to tell you what this is. This is Nomad Cosmetics Monteverde Cloud Forest. I think out of the Wildlife Wonderland palette. And then this one is Geese Lane by Sydney Grace. So I've got 3 mattes. That's it. I don't really think... I do love this one for a matte. It's a deep dark blue. This is a deep dark blue, and it is Sydney Grace Crushing Waves. I think that could go really good with this color. I think it could also go really good with that color. I think it could also go really good with the green. I think going to pull this one in. So I feel like I want like a deep purple matte, but I looked for a deep purple matte last time and really couldn't find one. I do feel like this taupe or this kind of like gray lavender shade, maybe even this one, could go in to blend like these deeper shades out well, because I feel like a cream is maybe just too creamy, and I do have like a palette in my Decapenning that has a cream in it that I'm working on right now. So let's look at this shade, kind of a gray. It's also kind of really soft. I do think that it's too deep though. This one is kind of a lavender gray, and it looks more lavender than it does gray. That one also looks more lavender than it does gray, but I think that this one is light enough that it can blend it out, and light enough that it also can take on those colors on blend out and create the perfect blend of those two colors. I do think that I'm going to bring this in. This is Sydney Grace Petal, and it does look slightly lavender. Even in swatch it looks slightly lavender, but I do think that it is the lightest of the options, and I think that it will blend well with those two shadows and create like the perfect blend. I kind of want to bring in this shadow, but I also kind of want to bring it, but that's too pink. This one is really red, but I don't feel like we have a lot of that in here. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it might even detract. Let's look at these shadows, because it's been forever since I brought them in, and I have an orange here. So I think I'd like to, and I am going to pick these up with this because I stick my fingernails in them all the time. I do think that I'm going to bring in this one instead of this one because it has that red shift, but it also has like an orange to it. Let me see if I can swatch it and show you guys. Grab a mirror. I think that'll be beautiful in here because it does have the red that I'm looking for, but it also shifts orange. So it might be pretty perfect. I also think I want to bring in this shade right here. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This is Cleona Sandblast, and this one is Cleona Embroidery. And it's this really beautiful green to blue. And I think that it will go beautifully with the green matte that I pulled, but also the oranges, because it's like a trio chrome. Like you guys can see the green. Do you see the blue? Like it also goes to purple. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull this one in too. I do think I need one more matte. Do I need one more matte? I kind of want to pull in all of these for fall. I don't think this 100% speaks fall to me, but what is another matte? Or maybe two? I think I'm gonna dig into, let's see, where's my most fall forward Natasha Denona palette? Okay, I brought green, brown, purple, blue. The problem with these palettes is that there's not a whole lot of mattes in these palettes. Like, overall, this palette has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes. And I don't like any of them for the last matte that I'm putting in this palette. From the purple blue perspective, this one has 1, 2, I love this one. I think that would go really well with these 3 shades and blend out well with that one. I think I'm gonna pull this one in. Okay, so this is that one, and it is Natasha Denona 24V Aubergine, and I think that that is perfection. So let's mark this one. Again, I need to find a sharper Sharpie. I think I have a ton of Sharpies downstairs because I am a pen hoarder. I think I have a missed opportunity with also pulling in this one. Look at how beautiful that is. I wonder if I could fit more. That's just what I'm wondering here. So we're gonna pull all these out. I don't know why I'm such a mess with my single shadows. Like, I truly get single shadow everywhere. Like, stick my nails in it, like fingers in them. Like, I'm surprised that all of these are still intact because I'm one of those people that maybe shouldn't own single shadows. Okay, so I know what I want. Let's start with this and put this next to it. I know that I want like this one to be partnered with that green as well. So we can go like that and go like that. The yellow and this yellow, kind of like that. And then we have the green. Let's do aubergine. Ugh, it just barely doesn't fit. Okay, so we're gonna do like that. Let's do blue here. I know you guys are yelling through the screen. This is how you do it. Probably some of you do this often. I don't do this often. And also this is just a cheap chintzy palette, which might be why I can't like fit all the things that I want to fit in here. I don't necessarily think that this one fits well with that. So I am going to put this orange in here, and then we are going to scooch this up here with this orange. And then we have this guy. I need to have some room between these because otherwise my fingernails like to go into them. So we're going to scooch these all down just a little bit because I don't think that I'm going to fit any more than 15 in here. So we're just going to go with 15. I'm going to put this, and then this, and then this, and then this. I don't know. I think I could probably get another one in here, but then it's going to be all wonky, and I don't love the thought process of it being all wonky. And I do think that I've got a relatively decent like color story here. It looks interesting to me. It looks really interesting to me. I think these 4 could be a really great eye look. I also think that these 4 could be a decent eye look. This orange might be a little bit wonky, but this will be a good shade to, I know it looks really purple in the screen, but it's not super purple. It's actually a little bit lavender or lilac-y, but I do think that it is light enough that it will blend these 2 out without looking lilac at the end of the day. I think these 2 could blend each other out. I love this one to go with any one of these shades. And then that could also blend that out. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is the color story. This is going to drive me nuts. Can you see my little bits of OCD coming out here? Like, I know that I flipped this because I wanted to see if I could fit another shadow. That's obviously not going to happen. So we're going to flip it back over. So it follows the same trend as the other square pans in here. And this is what I got. So let's look at the color story. We're going to swatch all these out. Ooh, that is so pretty. Every time I swatch it, I'm like, thank you, Andy. I already love that yellow. Look at how yellow this is. What I love about this yellow by Sydney Grace is it actually looks yellow. You know what I love about this is that not only am I getting use out of my singles, but I am also getting use out of palettes a little bit at a time, right? Because I'm pulling like shades from my Natasha Denona palettes, and it is nice to know that I am getting some use out of shades that maybe wouldn't have gotten much use. Look at how beautiful that aubergine is. That is such a beautiful color. Okay, these are the last three. This one probably won't show up hardly at all because it is the one that I'm planning on blending out with. So that is my fall / Halloween color story, and I really super like it. I really super like it. This is like a Donna color story. I do think that there could be some additional shades in here, but I really want to keep these build your own palettes tight so that I'm getting use and I'm rotating more. Does that make sense? So I do have only one shadow from palettes in here, and that is this aubergine shade right here from my Natasha Denona Purple Blue. The rest of them are all singles within my singles collection, and that is the color story for fall. So I do think that this will last me through Halloween as well, and I do think that the next one that we will be doing will be a winter color story. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about my fall palette, my fall build your own palette. I kind of love it, and I feel like that these aren't necessarily shades that I've got going on in my like everyday palette rotation. And I feel like these are good cohesive colors to one another. I feel like I did a good job of creating multiple different looks without it being too dark or too light. I would be interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on it though as well. So don't forget to hit a girl up down in the comment section. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope that you and yours are well. I hope that you are all safe and healthy and getting along as best you can. I hope that you are all loving each other, being kind humans, and living your best life. And until next time, bye friends.